Hey guys, I'm Dani West with Indepth Physio, and you are watching episode 3 of the SOAPBOX. Today we are continuing our conversation with how the core is not abs. So a couple weeks ago we walked through just the anatomy of the core, how it's made up of 4, diaphragm, pelvic floor, our transverse abdominis, and those little back stabilizers called our multifidus. So it ends up making this little cube of stability. And with that, we kind of referenced how to find neutral spine and how to start working on retraining some of those asymmetries with lifting a leg on the roller. That was our new party trick. I'm sure you've all mastered at this point. So we're gonna take it one step further today. And I'm gonna show you 3 more exercises that I usually start even regular people on if I'm starting them with a core program. And you'll notice it's starting to work the core in different relationships to gravity, which is super important when you're retraining anything, not just to always strengthen in one position, but starting with on your back, we're gonna do some side stability and also some work in prone. So today I have my lovely assistant, Miss Cordy. She is a dancer in Calgary, and Cordy has been working with me on and off for about a year now. She came to me originally with a lot of hip issues. And with any injury, I find it usually comes down to retraining the core at some point along that path of rehab. So these were ones Cordy got about a year ago. She's been trying to keep up with them as well, but just know that this isn't her first time doing them. She has had quite a bit of practice with them, so she's a little bit of a core pro. So we're gonna start with another one on the roller. So last week, like I said, we referenced that neutral spine. I just find the roller gives a little bit of better feedback of where that rib cage is in space, as I find people tend to let the ribs splay off the roller or splay in space when they're working the core. We want to try to correct that. So Cordy's going to come have a seat on the edge of the roller here. She's going to have her feet hip width apart. Arms are going to be reaching forward. Now, the task is she's going to start to really articulate into spinal flexion, and I want to see every vertebrae, every level of the spine, hit this roller one segment at a time. And along the way, we might see where she kind of loses control, and again, I'm just going to kind of make note of that. So she's going to inhale, almost feel like someone's punching her in the low belly, really to round through that low back, curling down, slow and steady as much as she can, and then she's going to relax at the bottom. And I don't know if you saw that, but there was a little glitchy spot at around the mid-spine that she kind of wanted to like lose control and rush with. So we're going to do that one more time. So she's going to have a sit up. Feet are hip width apart, shoulders are integrated. She's going to really try to round through here. I find a lot of dancers stay really stuck and blocked in through their lower lumbar. So again, she's going to inhale, really feel this curling, really rounding. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice job, my dear. Right at about here, that was better. So much smoother, and you'll see again where she kind of loses that motor control. We'll just kind of note that. Now, what goes down must come up. So if that went well, we would progress with the roll up. So she's going to inhale, curl up head, neck, and shoulders. This is where it gets tricky. She's really got to round through the spine to sit up. And she's going to want to love to kind of arch at the top. I'm actually going to cue her not to kind of splay at the very top. So we're going to try one more. She's going to inhale, curl down. Really rounding, gazes down to really keep the neck flexed. Beautiful job. She pauses at the bottom, and we're just going to reference neutral again. So arms to center. Good. Just knit the bottom ribs into the roller slightly, and she starts from there. Inhale, curl up head, neck, and shoulders, reaching through the arms. And again, she gets a little stuck here where she wants to kind of zombie up. And that's just telling me those little core muscles, those little intersegmental multifidi, maybe just aren't working as well at this level for whatever reason. So she would kind of go through that. Again, I don't give reps for these. For any patients, I usually just say, try to master that by the next time I see you. So in about a week to 2 weeks, that would be easy for her. The progression would be hands behind the head, elbows nice and wide. And we'll just show the roll down with that, Cordy. So hands behind the head, she's got to keep the elbows wide as she really starts to round down vertebrae by vertebrae, curling as much as she can. Beautiful. Nice job, and that's a tricky one. We won't make her come up, but again, that would be kind of the progression with that. So nice job, my dear. So that is roll down and roll up on the roller. With the kids, I usually call it the cinnamon bun because we're rolling and rolling up the spine. So, and food is great, so I usually use food analogies. So the next one we're gonna do is side stability. So she's gonna come off the roller. She's gonna lay on her right side. Good. So we're gonna start all lined up here. So her legs are in line with her torso, head is in line with the spine, bottom arm is long. Yeah, and we're just gonna kind of notice she might lose some balance even in this position, so it's interesting to note even the setup. Top hand is on the hip. I make sure the shoulders and the hips are stacked. She's gonna grow tall through the underside of the body. Just open up the front shoulder and almost give me that little sense of rib cage back as if that roller's behind you. Keeping the sense of lift, the task is, all she needs to do is lift both legs up and hold. And again, I'm just watching the strategies. Do the hips want to rock forward? Does the top shoulder want to rock forward? What does she want to do here? And holding there, she try to hold for 3 breaths. Good. And then relax. If that went well, we would progress to a longer hold, maybe to 10 breaths. So she's gonna lift up, she would hold, and once 10 breaths got easy, she's gonna start to add little walks or a little flutter kick. So we're actually working the inner thighs on the underside leg to try to keep them zipped. This is also a great gait retraining pattern, you can relax there, Cordy, for even the regular average Joe, because it doesn't allow any funky lateral shifting of the torso. So this time, Cordy, you're gonna come up. She's gonna flex the feet, so we'll say she's a non-dancer, and now you're gonna do little walks for me. And just notice how she has to stay pretty stable in the torso and still do that gait motion. So it's an awesome one, even just for gait retraining. Nice job, and come down. And of course, we would retrain this even on the other side, starting with holding for 3 breaths, working up to 10, and then adding a bit of dynamic movement to it. So that's side balance with flutter kick. And the last one, we're gonna strengthen her now in prone. So, Cordy's gonna go into a crawl position. Nice job. And again, setup is everything. So we're gonna see, okay, she found neutral lying on her back. She found neutral spine laying on her side. Now we're gonna see if she can do it here. So we make sure the hands are directly under the shoulders. We make sure the knees are directly under the hips. So Cordy, I'd even walk your knees a little bit more towards this way, good. And everything's kind of shoulder width and hip distance here. Now, she does like to hyperextend at the elbows a little bit, so I'm gonna have her just rotate the insides of the elbows towards each other just to soften them a little bit. I like to use my roller as a bit of a cue. So, I'm making sure that the back of her neck is nice and long. She is almost gonna feel like her chin is sending back through the throat, just to lengthen out long through here. She has that rib cage connection, and then we're still gonna make sure there's a little space in through the lumbar here. And a cue that I really like from dance physio, her name's Lisa Howell. She taught me this one, love the cue. She's gonna float the bottom ribs up, but still, it's almost like you're holding a tablespoon of sugar in through the low back. So give me a little bit more of an arch here, Cordy. Yes, just to set up the pelvis in neutral. So once she's all set up, kind of take that away. And we're gonna start with just some basic shoulder girdle movements. So she's gonna start to slide the shoulder blades in towards one another. And now she's gonna push the floor away. And she's gonna go back and forth, just like that. I'm making sure the neck is staying long, sinking in through the shoulders and pushing the floor away. Couple more. Now if we look at what's happening in through the shoulder girdle, so collarbone is in the front. We're actually trying to mobilize the shoulder girdle around the rib cage and back to center. And I find any people with shoulder or neck dysfunction, this is usually limited, this type of mobility. The shoulder blade kind of gets a little sticky. So really important, especially now that dance is being taken into the more acro gymnastic realm, we're doing a lot more weight bearing on our upper body. So we need to start strengthening and getting proper motor control in through that shoulder girdle while maintaining neutral spine. Good. So she would do about 10 to 20 of those, just nice to kind of loosen up the shoulder blades. It's also going to set her up for a proper plank, which is to come. So again, I'm making sure those elbows are in, long neck. She's picturing that roller on her spine. Once she can do that, she's going to walk her feet out into a plank. And I'm actually going to have her feet together, so heels together, toes apart, and you can even go into a less turnout for me. Yeah, so walk the feet closer together. Yeah, zip the inner thighs. Good, and she's going to feel this wrapping of those inner thighs. Floating the rib cage up, lots of people will like to sink in through here, and I don't know if you can do a bad one for me, Cordy, so really sink in through the torso. Yeah, and there's nothing going on in through here. She's gonna picture she's pushing the floor away, floating the ribs up, squeezing those inner thighs, and breathing. Starting with 3 breaths, working up to 10. Just take a little rest there, my dear. So one knee in, other knee in. Once that became easy, she's able to hold for about 10 breaths, or the equivalent of 30 seconds. I'd actually see if she could start doing some of those shoulder blade or scapula push-ups in a plank. So let's try it out. So walk one foot back, other foot back. She zips the heels together. She's gonna keep the rib cage floating up. She's gonna start to sink the shoulder blades together towards the spine and push the floor away. And again. And even when she's going down, she's still thinking of that little rib cage connection on that invisible roller. And I also want to make sure she's not kind of chin poking forward. So she's still going to picture lifting up through the crown and the back of the head. One more. Push the floor away and rest. Good. And you can just take a child's pose there, my dear. Nice job. So really great to start stability in a plank. Can't tell you how many people, even men in particular, who will be doing push-ups in the gym and their thorax is kind of all over the map. So they've actually been retraining or strengthening the shoulder in an improper position. Again, it's just not ideal for the core to do its job properly. And it also is great for dancers to start getting some upper body, because I find that we're not only seeing lower extremity injuries in dance, we're now seeing upper extremity. Necks, shoulders, lots of wrists due to that improper shoulder girdle stability. So really great for them. Thanks so much, Cordy. And you can just have a seat over there. All right, guys, so that was my favorite 4 of the core that I usually include in anyone's core program. So the first one we had was our little party trick, the leg lift on the roller. We had our roll down and roll up. We had our side balance with flutter kick and or little walks for that gait retraining. And then we also had starting some work in prone, working on that shoulder blade integration, holding that thorax from the core, and again, challenging that with a longer lever and working that in plank position. So this is really just skimming the surface of core retraining. Those are usually my starter exercises, so I hope you guys will try them out at home, teach them to your clients, and also if you're a dance teacher out there, start doing these in some of your warm-ups and core classes. Really great general exercises, but again, I can't stress enough, it's all about quality, not quantity for these. So if they're doing their flutter kick and they're kind of twisting all over the place, kind of pointless. So if you can, really try to talk them through proper technique, because that's just setting them up for success. And also we're able to progress them a bit quicker once they kind of start to retrain the brain that is how they operate the core in that neutral spine. So tune in with me in a couple weeks. We'll actually be out in Canmore. I'd love to give you guys a tour of the studio that I work out there and starting to show you guys some Pilates-based options of how to take this core retraining one step further. I just find physio school was really limiting in how to take somebody from basic core retraining to extreme return to sport. There was nothing in the middle there for exercise progression, and that's where I found Pilates really opened up the door to start strengthening the core in different relationships to gravity and adding that piece of dynamic stability, which is key for just life. So anyways, that's a soapbox for today. I'm Dani West, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.